body language is a language, okay? Think about what you're saying through your body language and remember that you are leading someone else and telling them how they should feel about you, depending on how you're feeling about you. Dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel or podcast if you're listening there. Today I'm going to share with you 5 tips on how to become a more confident dancer. And when I say confident dancer, I mean confidence in the way that you feel internally, but also these tips are going to help you to appear more confident to the people around you and who are watching you. Those are both really important things because confidence isn't just a feeling that's really enjoyable and really helpful. It physically helps you to perform better because it's a very expansive, grounded, positive energy, but it also really does help you to garner the right kind of attention if you are in audition situations, if you're performing, if you are just wanting to get more positive feedback. Now, there's a whole other conversation we could have about relying too much on external validation for confidence. I have other videos about that. I would encourage you to check them out. But let's say you do want to get the right kind of attention. Having a confident energy about you is an extremely magnetic quality for any performer to have. If you think of the performers you like to watch, they are most likely very confident. It gives you this feeling as you watch them that they're so sure of themselves, that it makes you also sure of them. And before we get into these tips, I want you to understand that confidence is something that anyone can access. It's just a feeling. And so many dancers don't feel confident because you think, I need to be perfect. I need to be the best dancer in the room. I need to have other people tell me I'm doing well before I can feel this way about myself. And as long as you keep thinking things like that, you are going to put confidence on the other side of a wall. You are going to lock yourself out. You won't be able to access it. So I want to encourage you, before we get into these tips, give yourself permission to start feeling confident. Now, it is just a feeling, just like you can enjoy yourself where you're at, depending on what you focus on, or you can feel sad depending on what you focus on. Frustrated, you can access any feeling depending on where you put your focus and attention. Confidence is the same. It's just a feeling. And the more we tie, or let's say, the more we put conditions on the feeling of confidence, like I have to look like this before I'll let myself feel that. I have to know I'm going to do a good job before I go put myself out there confidently. Instead of embracing, all right, I might mess up, but I'm going to own what I'm doing and still show up with that confident energy about me. The more you remove those conditions on this feeling, the more you'll be able to access it. I have a lot of other videos about confidence that you can check out. And I know you're probably already thinking about some common misconceptions like, but Kirsten, if I start to feel confident where I'm at now, won't I become complacent and not want to change? Not so, my friend. Confidence can be a feeling that serves as fuel to get to where you want to go. It's not this feeling that just happens to you once you've arrived, because we all know arrival is truly not a thing. It's a myth. Another misconception I hear a lot is, well, if I start to feel confident, won't other people start to see me as arrogant? I don't want to come off as arrogant. Okay, my friend, if you're worried about that, you can trust yourself. You're not going to come off as arrogant. And if some people do have a problem with you feeling confident where you're at and owning where you're at, being comfortable in your own skin, that probably has a lot to do with their own insecurities. Arrogance and confidence are two different things. Arrogance is actually coming from a deep place of insecurity because arrogance is this confidence, air quotes, that comes from relying on feeling better than other people to feel good about yourself. And other people you're not in control of. So it's coming from an insecure, unstable place already if arrogance is really the kind of skewed confidence you're channeling. Confidence is really just the feeling of being sure about something, whether it's your skill level, the process, that you have something to offer even if you're not perfect, that you can learn and keep going no matter what happens, whether you mess up or not. There are so many different sources of confidence because it's just simply a feeling of assuredness, the feeling of being sure about something, okay? That's why I say if we have all these conditions around it, like I can only feel confident if I know the teacher likes me. Okay, well then you're going to keep waiting. You're relying on something external to change so that you can change internally. That's giving away your power. So anyway, I just want to give a couple of those notes about confidence that no, confidence, true authentic confidence is not arrogance. It actually comes off as a lot more, yes, grounded, but also humble, because if you're really sure of yourself, you don't need everyone to be looking at you and validating you all the time. You don't need other people to think you're all that in a bag of chips, because you're already secure within yourself. You don't need to be the center of attention in order to feel okay. That's insecure. But a lot of times we misconstrue confidence for this very like loud, proud, arrogant, look at me, center of attention kind of attitude. Yes, confidence does often take the form of being comfortable, being seen, and taking up space, but also it allows you the flexibility to not be seen and to be okay. So I just want to go ahead, and I know it's a long intro, but I wanted to get those misconceptions about confidence kind of out of the way and address some of those concerns before we get into these tips, because I know from years of coaching dancers through this as a high performance mindset coach and a speaker, I've spoken at schools, universities, companies all over the country and even the world. And these misconceptions come up in the form of questions all the time. And I've seen that if dancers have these ideas like, oh yeah, this sounds nice, these tips sound great, but I'm scared to embody confidence because people will judge me. Okay, then it's going to inhibit you from actually taking advantage of these tips. So that's why I addressed the misconceptions first. And now let's get into the tips. The first tip that you can use to become a more confident dancer is to simply enjoy yourself. Okay? It's such a simple thing, but feelings are infectious. This is really important to understand. When you're genuinely enjoying your own dancing, it's not that you have to enjoy every single facet of it, like the discomfort of holding your leg up for a long time in adagio, or you might not like that you made a mistake, but if you can be that person that kind of is lighthearted about it, like it's not that you don't care that you made a mistake, but you can just kind of like laugh and go on, or you can really enjoy the music, enjoy the feeling of like moving across the floor or expressing a certain emotion, or the feeling of like really even articulate footwork. I'm thinking of ballet because that's the kind of style that I do. But if you are consistently allowing yourself to identify what you can enjoy about what it is that you're doing, and you let yourself feel that enjoyment, it is actually not only is it nice, but it's such a great hack to start to help you to feel more confident and to look more confident, because really some core traits of what confidence looks like on the outside is it looks expansive, it looks grounded, it looks like enjoyable, like you're having a good time, it's a good feeling. There are so many different descriptors I could use to describe what it looks like to watch a dancer who's really embodying confidence, but those are some of my favorites I want to point out. And when you're really enjoying what you're doing, what's great about that, and why I pointed out that feelings are infectious, is that when you are really enjoying what you're doing, it signals to other people that you're happy with what you're doing and you're happy with yourself. What does that then unlock in the other person? It communicates to them subconsciously through your body language, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, so you can enjoy watching me. I'm enjoying this, so you can enjoy what I'm doing too. Versus if we think about insecurity, a lot of times what we'll do is we feel insecure and then we project it outwardly. Sometimes even purposefully, like we'll make a mistake and then we'll make a show of it. Like, I know I just messed up, everyone. And what that does is it signals to the other person, I hate what I just did, you should hate it too. Our body language is a language, okay? Think about what you're saying through your body language, and remember that you are leading someone else and telling them how they should feel about you, depending on how you're feeling about you. So a great way to hack that is enjoy yourself. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect, it just requires that you enjoy. The second tip that you can use to become a more confident dancer is to radically own where you're at. This is a tip that a lot of dancers wouldn't maybe immediately disagree with, but I hope you do after I explain it some more. A lot of dancers think, wait, I can't own where I'm at because that means I'm accepting where I'm at, and then that means I'm going to be lazy and not work hard. That means I'm going to become complacent and not want more. And part of what so many dancers share in common is this insatiable desire for more improvement, to be better, to do more. I get that. I share in that desire. That it feels like such a part of who I am. However, a huge realization that I had around radical ownership is that ownership of where you're at just frees you from beating yourself up about your starting point. So many of us dancers are wasting a lot of our time and energy beating ourselves up for being where we're at right now. And so what that does is it distracts you with negative self-talk. It gets you to focus on what you don't like about your dancing, what you're disappointed about within yourself, where you think you should be by now but you're not. It holds you back in judgment, self-criticism, and shame, discouragement, disappointment, all those things. And that is taking up sorry, that was my cat getting off the desk. It's taking up your precious mental and emotional and energetic space that you could be using to say, you know what, this is where I'm at. I'm going to treat it as day one. Where am I going tomorrow? What am I going to do next? And there's something so beautiful about just owning that today is your starting point. Every day is the starting point. And when you're just like, yeah, this is my technique right now. This is my skill level right now. This is where I'm at level-wise, casting-wise, whatever, right now. What am I going to focus on today? What am I going to appreciate today? What am I going to try to improve today? It just frees up a lot of that mental space that insecurity wastes. It is honestly a waste. And I know it's like easier said than done, sure. But this really is a choice that you can start making until the choice really sinks in on that felt level. You're allowed to own where you're at, okay? Because, I mean, it's where you're at. Beating yourself up about it isn't really going to change it as effectively as saying, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm at, what am I going to do next? It's choosing to remove the label of problem from where you're at right now so that you can focus on the solutions for where you want to go tomorrow. The next tip that you can use to start becoming more of a confident dancer is to develop a clear image in your head of what it looks like for you to be a confident dancer. And I say you, I really emphasize that because maybe you could start by thinking, what does a confident dancer look like? What do they stand like? What's their facial expression? How do they respond to things like mistakes? Sure, let yourself imagine that, but then make sure you develop a mental picture that has you in the picture. What does a confident version of you look like, dance like, stand like, respond to mistakes like? What does that look like? When you develop a mental picture, it engages the power of your imagination. It gives you a clear map, like a destination in your head of where you can go. And it gives you clarity, just like when you, let's say, if you've ever done a performance where you're playing a role, you're specifically acting like a character that's different than who you are. It's quite normal, especially if you do like story ballets. What do you do in order to become that character effectively? You develop a clear image in your head of what they look like, what are their mannerisms. If you've ever studied a character to do a good job of acting like that character, you imagine how they show up in whatever scene you're going to be portraying that character in. It's the same with you embodying confident you. If you have a clear mental picture of what it looks like for you to be the most confident version of you, it is so much easier for you to imagine it, feel what it feels like to be that, and to actually let yourself show up as that person. This might seem overly simplistic, and that's actually fine, because Adopting a certain state of being is actually something that you can't get to through overthinking. It's a felt thing. It is a feeling you tap into, a potential that you tap into within yourself. Just like you have the potential sitting in you right now to focus on something that makes you feel really sad, and you could start feeling sad right now. I'm sure you could. I definitely could. It's the same with embodying this confidence. When I have this, or when I tap into the mental picture that I have of what it looks like for me to be confident me, especially in the studio or on stage, it's so clear to me. I can see it. And instead of overthinking and trying to do all this mental gymnastics for me to get there, I just imagine it and I let myself stand like her, show up like her. Her, yes, I love that. I love that energy. And it actually works. Don't overthink it. Just try it out. Your imagination is a very powerful thing. Let yourself embody that. Don't overthink it. Hopefully that makes sense. The next tip that you can use to become a more confident dancer is to actually spend time identifying what skills or qualities are standout skills or qualities for you personally. I could phrase this as, what are your strengths? And that would be a completely valid way of saying it. However, so many dancers I talk to get really hung up on the question of like, what are my strengths? I don't know what they are. And we disqualify ourselves from saying we have strengths because we're really comparing what we have compared to someone else. And there's always going to be someone who's better at a certain skill. However, if that's how you're measuring like what qualifies as strength, you will genuinely feel like you have none. That's why I say standout skills or qualities for you. When you know which qualities or skills are your favorites about your own dancing, and really take it seriously. If you don't know, pay attention in class. Give yourself the space to celebrate little things, even if it feels small and insignificant. Embrace it. That's okay. That is okay. We're not all like principal dancers. We're not perfect, but everyone has a standout quality for them. So know what yours are and actually accentuate them as you dance. Spend some time and energy actually working to accentuate and strengthen those qualities. Make them stand out even more in your dancing. Prioritize accentuating them instead of always focusing on what do I need to fix, what do I need to change. Both are very valid aspects that we need to focus on in order to fulfill our potential as dancers and keep growing. But if you're always focusing on what do I need to fix, what do I need to change, what's wrong, what is insufficient, then you're actually going to become kind of blind to what you're doing well, which is an essential aspect to being as confident as you want to be. We need to be able to celebrate and acknowledge and own and feel good about what we're doing well. Just like you would want that from a teacher in order to be positively motivated to keep showing up, putting energy in, doing more. Stop relying on your teachers to only be the ones who give you external validation. You need to start validating yourself, and that starts with knowing what you want to validate yourself for, okay? So identify what are the standout skills and qualities for you, accentuate them as you dance, and celebrate them. The last tip I have for you in order to become a more confident dancer is to challenge yourself to be expansive and take up space. There are a lot more tips I could give, but I really just want to finish on that one for today. A confident trait to have is one that shows you are willing to be seen, you are willing to take up space. So often dancers appear very insecure because they shrink back. You put your eyes down on the floor, you stand in the back line, your body language stiffens up or gets smaller the second you feel imperfect. Here's the thing, if we're always waiting to be like, okay, I think I can do a good job now, I think I'm good at this, I think I'm going to be perfect, so now I can step out and be seen, that's going to create this hesitancy where you're in this catch-22 situation where you're waiting to feel like you can do something well in order to go out and be seen, but the way to get better at something is to go out there and do it. And the way to get recognized and even to get good feedback so that you can get corrections that will help you to get better is to just go out and be seen. So the thing is, so many dancers are so hung up on the, let's say, like 5 to 15% of the things that they feel they're doing wrong or could do better or they're not sure about, and they're waiting to feel 100% like I got this, to step out and be seen. But the thing is, even the best dancers in the world aren't 100% sure. You can't wait to be like, okay, now I know I can do this, so now I'm gonna step out. No, it doesn't work that way. In order to really dance confidently to your fullest potential and look confident as you're doing what you're doing, it requires that you accept there's gonna be a little bit of, or a lot of imperfection mixed into what you're doing, and people are gonna see that regardless of, even if you try to hide. Honestly, my eye sometimes goes to the person who's trying to hide because I can tell they're uncomfortable and I'm like, are you okay? And so if you're gonna be seen anyway, why not put yourself out there 100%, knowing there will be some imperfections mixed in, but it's gonna be so much more attractive to see your full ownership over what you're doing compared to if you're like holding back. All right, hopefully that made sense. And this is a challenge. This is something that you can expose yourself to more, like challenge yourself to stand in the front, challenge yourself even if you're not standing in the front to have this body language of, I'm allowing people to see me. I'm allowing myself to take up space in my posture and how I travel. Like, obviously you could do this respectfully and responsibly, like, you know, you can skew what I'm saying to think I'm saying be obnoxious, kick other people out of the way, don't be spatially aware. That's not what I'm saying. But taking up space and allowing yourself to be seen, choosing to show up expansively in your body language, that's something that you can just start doing now, even if it's wildly uncomfortable to you, and it will become more comfortable as you expose yourself to it. A good old session of exposure therapy. It is actually a proven way to recover from things like that. So sometimes exposure therapy is really the only way to get comfortable with something. So just start now. Okay, dancers, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I also want to share that if you want more help in truly working through fears, insecurities, self-doubt, performance anxiety, perfectionism, self-criticism, comparison, whatever it is that you feel is going on a deeper level that's holding you back from being the confident dancer you want to be, that is what my individual mindset coaching program for dancers is designed to help with. It's called the Confident Dancer Coaching Program. I have helped hundreds of dancers through this program from all over the world, ranging from recreational dancers to top professional dancers and YGP finalists, all that stuff. To help them really develop a strong, confident mentality that allows them, if you enroll, to perform your personal best consistently through mastering the mental side of dance. That's what this program is about. It's what I love supporting dancers with. So if that's something you would like further support in, that's what I offer. So go ahead and just click the link down below to visit theconfidentdancer.com. That's where you can learn more about the program, and it set up a free 30-minute consultation where you and I can chat, connect, discuss your personal goals and challenges, and honestly see if working together would be a great fit. If it's not, no strings attached, but if it is, could just change your life and your dance journey, just saying. So take advantage of that if you feel drawn to it. And I want to thank you again for watching this video or listening to this podcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.